Hello everyone. Today we will discuss a new topic under environmental studies and environmental laws. Today's topic is environment and law of torts. We will talk about the relationship between environmental damages and the law of torts, how environmental damages are punished under law of torts and how it is considered as a civil wrong. The list of topics to be covered here are we'll talk about a tort which is a civil wrong. Then we will talk about what are the environmental harms and damages. Then we'll talk about the liability of those persons who uh, conducts or causes environmental harms under the tort. Then we'll talk about the two types of liability, that is strict liability and absolute liability. Then we'll talk about certain important legislations to maintain these environmental harms and for the protection of environment. Then we'll talk about the role of Indian judiciary. First of all, a tort is a civil wrong. It is concerned with the liability of persons for torts or a breach of their own duties towards other. It relates to the recognition of interest that the civil law recognizes in the absence of contractual relations between the wrongdoer and the injured persons. So basically, tort is such a type of a law where all these civil wrongs are considered, and these wrongs are conducted by those persons who have certain duties to the other persons of the society, but they do not um, specifically perform these duties. There is a breach of their duties which creates damages to the other. So these are the wrongdoers of the society, and we will talk about the relationship of the wrongdoers and the injured person, to the persons whom the damage has been caused under the tort law. Let's talk about some environmental harms. Industrialization has posed serious concerns for the protection of environment. There are many activities taking place which increases environmental contamination and toxins at a rapid pace. A toxic tort is a special type of personal injury lawsuit in which the plaintiff claims that exposure to a chemical caused the plaintiff's toxic injury or disease. So, when we talk about environmental harms, these are the certain concerns which industrialization has uh, made us to think about, because industrialization is such a process which is certainly damaging our environment. So it has become really important to protect our environment. So we take certain activities under the tort law. These activities mostly causes the damage to our protect environment, and we need to protect them. Liability under tort. It is clear that both judicial and legislative processes have applied the yardstick of strict or absolute liability to judge the conduct of the polluters. Strict liability for ultra hazardous activities might also be considered a general principle of law, as it is found in the national law of many states in relation of ultra hazardous activities. Absolute liability for the harm caused by industry engaged in hazardous and inherently dangerous activities is a newly formulated doctrine free from exception to the liability rule in England. So, under tort law, we have two types of liability, which usually the legislative and judicial authorities takes upon the polluters. First of all is strict liability, and second is absolute liability. Strict liability talks about a general principle of law. It has been applied by many states. Has become a national law. And absolute liability is another law which has formulated through doctrines and through certain exceptions to judge the persons who are causing damages. First of all, let's talk about strict liability. Under the English law, a person who for his own purposes brings on his own land and collects and keeps there anything likely to do mischief if it escapes must keep it in at his peril, and if he does not do so is prima facie answerable for all the damage which is the natural consequence of its escape, as laid down by the landmark judgment of Ryland versus Fletcher. It is a very important case under the tort with respect to strict liability. Under the Ryland versus Fletcher case, it was said that if any person who keeps or brings something for his own purpose on his land uh, which would likely to do some damages or cause damages to other person, if it escapes, then that particular person becomes answerable for that particular damage caused to the other person. So this becomes the basic rule of strict liability. Absolute liability. The Indian rule was evolved in MC Mehta versus Union of India, which was popularly known as the Oleum gas leak case. It was public interest litigation under Article 32 of the Indian Constitution. In the judgment on the substantive law, it was emphasized that the principle of absolute liability should be followed to compensate victims of hazardous and inherently dangerous activity. Industries engaged in such activities are absolute liable to compensate those who are affected by harm arising from such activities. When we talk about absolute liability, it was a rule which was evolved by the case of MC Mehta versus Union of India. In this particular case, it was laid down by the judges that if any industries who is engaged in such kind of activities which are causing certain hazardous or dangerous damages to the environment or to the other person, then particular industries will become liable to compensate those person whom those activities have been affected. So this has become the absolute liability. There will be no escape for those industries if even if they are not liable or they do not have intention to cause damage, they have taken all the protective measures to control it, still they are not able to control the damage, still they have to pay the compensation to the persons who got damage from the particular activities. Now, after seeing all these environmental damages and environmental harms causing to the society, there was a great need of certain important legislations. So, apart from the tort law, we have certain other environmental legislations to control all these damages. Legislation reflects the law's growing recognition of the capacity of hazardous substances to cause damage to person, property, and the environment. Environment Protection Act 1986 is the most important legislation to recognize liability towards environment. Apart from that, Indian Penal Code 1860, Code of Civil Procedure 1908, and Code of Criminal Procedure 1973 are some important legislation which makes a person liable under the case of public nuisance. So under these law, we can make a person liable if they are causing any activities by which they are causing damages to other person or the environment or the society. Now let's talk about role of Indian judiciary. What is the role of Indian judiciary in the to protect the environment? In India, judicial activism and increase in environmental tort litigation started with the Bhopal gas leak accident, in which due to the leak of poisonous gas, millions of people suffered from a health problem and over 2,500 people died with the immediate poisonous effect of the gas. With such massive harm to the environment and human life, the doctrine of absolute liability began to evolve in India and finally evolved in the MC Mehta case. So here, the judicial activism in the case of environment protection has started with the Bhopal gas leak case, and with this we have also evolved with the absolute liability principle, which we have already talked about in the MC Mehta case. So judiciary has actively participated in the protection of environment. Bhopal tragedy was an eye-opening accident for people with different backgrounds, including state and central governments, media persons, litigators, social activists, and even industrial management also. After the tragic accident, a new feature was introduced in the Indian judicial system when people started linking tort with the environment, and there was a growth in the concept of exemplary damages, that is, heavier amount are involved. Now, we will take certain cases to talk more about the particular subject. First case is Indian Council for Enviro Legal Action versus Union of India. In this case, upholding the judgment in MC Mehta, the court observed the law needs to accommodate itself with the changing needs of the society, especially in a country like India where economic and social transformation is a challenge due to rapid industrialization, and applied the polluter pays principle. The court also observed that the newly developed principles of tortious liability are effective in PIL concerning environmental harm. In another case of Bandhuwa Mukti Morcha versus Union of India, this was a landmark judgment due to the fact that in this judgment the Honorable Supreme Court stated that the power of the court under Article 32, which deals with the right to constitutional remedies, is not limited to only with the issuing directions, guidelines, or writs to enforce fundamental rights, but it puts an obligation on the court to check whether the fundamental rights of the people are protected or not. In another case of MC Mehta versus Kamal Nath and others, in this judgment, the court put pollution in the category of civil wrong and stated that polluting the environment is a tort committed against the whole community. The court was also of the view that the person who is responsible for damaging the ecology and environment may be forced to pay exemplary damages also, so that such award may prove as an example for others to prevent them from repeating the same mistake again. However, the court differentiated between fine and exemplary damage by saying that both are the result of different types of considerations. The court restated that its power are not limited, and thus it can award damages through PILs and writs under Article 32.